Hello, everyone. Just wanted to kind of discuss with you a little bit about the discussion we had last Friday about some counselors not feeling maybe confident in the counseling room and feeling, maybe that they have to fix everything. And I just wanted to give just a little bit of encouragement this morning over we aren't the ones that are fixing things, right? It's the Holy Spirit within the room. So I was doing some reading over, it was in First Peter 5, 5 through 7. And what it says is clothe yourselves, all of you, with humility toward one another, for God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time he may exalt you, casting all of your anxieties on him because he cares for you. So I just wanted to take a few minutes, kind of to discuss that. So Peter is speaking to leaders, shepherds, counselors, people responsible for others' care, right? Um, so that should, be getting our attention right there. He's already speaking about it. So humility is a posture. So it's not a personality trait. So Peter does not say, humble yourselves when you feel like it. He says, clothe yourselves with humility. So always having that humility with us. And, in the Bible, language matters. Humility is not about insecurity. It's not about self-doubt, and it's not minimizing your competency, right? Humility is a chosen posture. It's what we should be going into the room, the counseling room, every time that we are sitting with someone. Okay. So here's the ways that we can always stay humble and counsel with humility is, we should stay curious. I always talk about, being curious all the time in the room, right? So we should listen longer than we speak. We allow the client's story to unfold rather than forcing that insight too quickly. So that's them processing through things. And we just want to give them that space to process. And the other part is we accept that we are not the Holy Spirit in the room. The Holy Spirit is doing the work. We're that conduit, we're that vessel for the Holy Spirit to do that work with the individuals in front of us, right? So Peter also reminds us God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So in the counseling, pride rarely looks loud, right? It looks subtle. Overconfidence in our interpretation of things, that need that we have to fix things or to feel like we're right about everything. Maybe we're studying something and we're applying it and we feel that it's right for the individual without knowing all, everything that goes into it. Also becoming defensive. That would be countertransference, maybe becoming defensive about something that the client has said or they put out there. Okay. Um, Feeling personally responsible for the outcomes. That's one of the biggest things that we talked about is feeling personally responsible. No, the individual has most of the responsibility in the room. Okay. We're just sitting with them. So I had another note. I said, pride speaks in when we believe we carry the client's healing instead of bearing witness to it, instead of sitting with them and processing that. So throughout First Peter, suffering is not something to escape. All right. So we're going to go through suffering. It's something that we endure with faith from the Lord. Okay. Humility allows us to sit with that unresolved pain without rushing to fix it. So a lot of times we have to figure out what that pain is and sit in that pain so that we can understand what the Lord's doing in our lives. So it's having that patience um, throughout, in working with the client. So Peter says, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God. So this phrase is somewhat clinical, right? As counselors, we operate within systems. We operate within treatment plans. Diagnosis, ethics, outcomes, time limits that maybe we feel should be honest, so they should be getting through this counseling, quicker. I should be helping them quicker, right? But Peter reminds us in the passage that we are also under God's hand, right? God is the one working through, the Holy Spirit is working through us, right? Humility means acknowledging that we do not control timing, that's under God. We do not control the client's readiness to change. We do not control the outcomes that happen, and we do not control the transformation of the individual, right? So the entire book of First Peter emphasizes that faithful presence that we have with our clients rather than that immediate deliverance that we feel that they should have, the fixing and so on. Okay. So that's counseling, right? So we sit under God's hand with the client rather than positioning ourselves above that process. So that's humility that we talk about. So Peter adds this so that at the proper time, he may exalt you. Okay. This speaks to patience that we just spoke about, right? Counselors feel pressure to produce change, show progress, demonstrate effectiveness that I am giving. That's we're not being humble if we feel that we have to give our expertise instead of the Lord giving that. But First Peter repeatedly teaches that God works on a different timeline. So we're working under the Holy Spirit's guidance and under their time, under the Holy Spirit's timeline. Humility allows us to trust that slow growth may happen, that the individual sitting in front of us may have partial insight and maybe they have to process more, that there may be healing at times and not instantaneous, right? So that we have to have that patience with that. And there may be long seasons of change as well. So in that counseling room, humility looks like honoring where the client is, just being present with them in that moment without shaming them for not being further along. Okay, so just sitting with them and being patient. Then Peter says one more thing, right? Casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. Notice that it is not written to clients, it's written to the leaders. Casting all of our anxieties on the Lord because he cares for you. Counselors accumulate anxiety because we have clients, they need that safety. They may have relapses and that we feel that we need to fix, right? And so on. They may have failures and things like that too. So it's like goes back to let's be present with them and we're not shaming them. So humility says this, right? I am allowed to release what I was never meant to carry. It's such a huge thing right there. I'm allowed to release what I was never meant to carry. We don't have to carry those burdens, right? We just have to sit with them in it, okay? First Peter teaches that suffering becomes destructive when it is carried alone. Okay? Casting anxiety is an act of humility. It admits I am not sufficient, and that is not a weakness. To depend on the Holy Spirit, the Lord working within us, that is not a weakness. That's a sign that of strength, right? So, first of all, identity before function. These are the principles we were kind of talking about. Suffering as refinement, hope and uncertainty. We can have hope that through the uncertainty of working with the client, submission to God every time we walk into that counseling room, and humility and humbleness is leadership. We're modeling leadership to our clients. Counseling is done with humility because and it becomes a place where clients feel safe enough to tell that truth. We're creating that safety place for the client. So just wanted to just give a little bit of encouragement this morning that it's not us that has to fix everything. We have the knowledge and we have the wisdom. We need to put that to use with the guidance of the Holy Spirit. So just wanted to give you a little bit of guidance. I'm praying for each and every one of you, and I thank you so much for what you do for the Abundant Life Counseling Center. I love you guys, and we'll talk real soon. Can't wait till Friday again for our training.